That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey fam, what is up? We are back for another episode of the Weekly Roundup. I'm your host, as always, Steve, being joined by this lovable, crazy guy over here, Mr. Zach Burr. Zach, how we doing this afternoon? How you feeling, brother?
Got off work. It was very irritating the entire day. So it's frustrating. All the stupid people that come into Wawa on a daily basis. You should see it. Oh my God. I mean, I know you see it when you go there, but imagine the people that work there and what they have to deal with. You think this show has shenanigans involved with it?
Oh, man,
I sometimes want to live stream what I'm doing from Wawa. There's so much stupidity.
Yeah, obviously, we got a lot of craziness in life, both Wawa, in the world in general, in our own personal lives. But we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff this afternoon. Obviously, we're gonna break down this NFC AFC Conference Championship games. We're also gonna be obviously talking of the Eagles news here, of the hiring of Nick Siriann. I know. Mr. Burr is going to have some opinions on that. We're going to preview the Lions Bruins, and we're also going to be talking to MMA veteran, bare knuckle boxing queen, in my opinion, Christina, the Misfit Feria. She's going to be joining us at around 5:30, so that should be fun. But obviously, let's get into everything here. And obviously, the show is brought to you by Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical LLC, with 2 locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill. He's our doc. Make him yours. Check him out at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And our poll question is brought to you by, we got a new read for this one, so guys, check it out. As many of us in our families deal with mental health and addiction and issues, we're happy to support the counseling centers at Sunrise Detox. If you have any mental health issues, addiction therapy, or anything like that, please call 856-561-8117. Tell them Tom and the guys over at A2D sent you. As far as the poll question goes, will Tom Brady become the first quarterback to both win NFC and AFC championships? Agree? Disagree? Mr. Burr, let's get started with you. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling what I've been feeling. What I've been telling you for weeks. It's going to be the Packers in Green Bay, or it's going to be the Packers in Kansas City in the Super Bowl. So, no, I disagree. Either way, we've got 2 legends, at the quarterback position, 2 old guys, right, squaring off. Not quite as old as Breeze and Brady were last week, but still, you got guys that are, hey, neither one of these is a spring chicken, right? It's a great story for Brady to be, he'd be the first to win it in both leagues. He'd be the first first team to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. There's a lot there, but leave it to Tom Brady. If there's something that hasn't been accomplished before in the NFL, he might find a way to make it happen. It's just kind of how he's wired, right? So, I expect a good football game. I don't think you could look at this and say, I'm picking Green Bay to win, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Tampa Bay has no chance. Like, of course they have a chance.
Grove's got Bills and the Bucks, and he's got the Bills finally getting that Super Bowl.
See, the NFL, I don't think wants anything to do with that. Like, that's not making the NFL money. I'm sorry, but the Bills and the Bucks, that is I get it. Like, the Bills have a diehard fan base, and there might be some people around the country that maybe want to jump on that because, what a lovable story it is. The Bucks, up until when Tom Brady got here, and I live down here in the Tampa area, Chrome, so I'm just saying, from what I know personally living down here, I haven't seen more. I've seen more Bucks fans in the past 6 months since Tom Brady announced he was coming to Tampa than I think I did in the previous 3 years combined that I lived down here. So, there's a lot of people that have all of a sudden just jumped on the Bucks bandwagon because of Brady. I know Brady, the NFL never has a problem with Brady being in the Super Bowl. But the idea of like that Super Bowl matchup and what it does from a national perspective, it just doesn't bring the same excitement or the same just national, I guess you would talk about attention from the advertisers and all that, right? As having the rematch of Super Bowl I with obviously the guy who's the biggest football star on the planet right now, Patrick Mahomes, and a guy who's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers. And, you know, that's a much better story. Or the Bucks and Chiefs is a much better story for the NFL. I don't think the NFL wants anything to do with the Bills. They'll go with the Bucks. But the Bills, I'm telling you, that's not the moneymaker for them, man. They need to see Mahomes square off. And this is part of the other thing I think they want to see. They need to see Mahomes square off against Brady or Rodgers, because it can be one of those passing of the torch type moments, right? If the Chiefs were like to kind of go win that Super Bowl, it's almost like the league has that to like kind of like lean on. The league loves a good fucking story. Let's not, it's not, you're acting like the league scripted. Well, yeah, the league knows where the money's at and they know how to get the most money out of the situation. So, I look at it, I'm looking at it like that. They love the idea of maybe Mahomes being able to beat Rodgers or beat Brady. And it's like one of those moments where, there's that guy passing the torch to him. Hey, I was once the big, big superstar.
It looks like as of this moment, we got two of our potential giveaway winners already sitting in there, both Bryce.
There we go. Right, we're giving it away this week. We talked about it.
Yeah, so we got two of them already sitting there. Bryce and Don are already getting in the conversation. So
Chad Henne versus Tom Brady. I mean, hey, that would, Mahomes playing is the big part of that. You're right there, Don. Like if Mahomes
I thought he was clear
this week,
but
and somehow wasn't clear
under
the
assumption that he gets dinged up in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun, but then he's got 2 weeks to get fresh. I mean, let's be honest. Unless the dude like breaks his back or something. I mean, like really, the dude needs to break his leg, like something like that would have to happen for him not to play. Like if he could have a high ankle sprain, I think the dude will tough it out. He'll just wrap that baby up and go, all right, fuck it, let's go. Really, you're not missing the Super Bowl unless you're, really in fucked up shape, right? I mean, we've seen players come back and put it all on the line for that. I'm not worried about his nagging foot injury or something like that. That's not going to keep him out.
Listen, yeah, I'm with you. Like you're gonna have, it's gonna take a significant injury to keep him off that field. If they happen to win this game.
What's your reaction to what I said? Because I feel like you kind of wanted to sit there and laugh a little bit, but as well as I do. The league, the NFL has teams that they look at as their money makers. And whatever they can do to make sure those are the teams, they're going to make that happen. And right now, the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Bucks are all much bigger moneymakers than Buffalo. Buffalo's a cool story. Josh Allen's got a chance to be, a stud here for a long time. But nationally, you can't convince me that the NFL, like, that's what they want to go with. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just me trying to look at it too much. But this is Roger Goodell's NFL we're talking about, not the NFL you grew up with, Steven.
Yeah,
Roger Goodell knows how to milk it for everything it's worth.
What I'm going to say is how I'm looking at this is obviously, as far as what you see for the NFC and AFC matchups, if you're the NFL, couldn't ask for pretty much anything better. But Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes battling out for the AFC Championship, and you got the two Lions. Was it 13 years in the making to finally get to see them match off here in the playoffs? It's gonna be in Lambeau Field. Tom Brady has a tall order ahead of him if he wants to accomplish this goal of being one of the first quarterbacks to do it. He's one of four now to be able to appear in two. Can he be the first one to do it? Ah, man, it's rough, man. But the other thing you got to think of, if I remember correctly, they gave Green Bay a thumping earlier this season. It's a regular season; it's a different story. We're all talking playoffs.
I mean. And New Orleans beat the shit out of Tampa twice in the regular season, and then Tampa came back and beat them last week. So, again, the playoffs and all that changes, and you never know. These two guys and the two teams, I mean, they know each other so well. It's just going to, it's going to be another close football game, and you're going to have, maybe whoever has the ball last wins the football game. Maybe that's a good prediction there to go with. Whichever quarterback has the ball in his hands last wins.
And then Don brings up a matchup point that we need to touch on because we all know Dominican Sue has been a polarizing character in the NFL for some time. He's been rather quiet the last handful of years. I think he's kind of grown into himself and stuff like that. Obviously, at some point in time during his career, he made a stop there in Green Bay, and he's now with Tampa Bay in the NFC title game. I don't think. What's that?
He never played in Green Bay, but he has hell of a history with Aaron Rodgers during his time with Detroit.
I thought he was on the roster at some point in time.
I don't think so. I don't think he ever played in Green Bay. Rodgers would have never let that happen. To be honest, he hates him ever since. That was like that Thanksgiving game early in his career, like his rookie year.
The Lion.
When he stomped on the dude's arm or something, or stomped on the dude's leg, and that was like a pack. Wasn't that the Packers Lions or whatever on Thanksgiving? Sue hates Aaron Rodgers, or Rodgers hates. I mean, I think Sue just hates anybody that wears a different color jersey. That's kind of how he plays football. But I think Rodgers legitimately dislikes Ndamukong Suh. That game, if that game was in Tampa, Green Bay, the game's in Lambeau, right? And it's a little bit different now that we're talking about fans and all that, obviously not being in the picture, but still, where would you rather be if you're those two? You'd rather be playing in Tampa where it's like 70 degrees this weekend, right? Like, it's going to be gorgeous tomorrow. And then you got to go play in like 20-degree weather, impossible snow flurries in fucking Green Bay. And Tom Brady's like, damn it, this is why I left New England. This is why I live in Florida now. This is why I'm building a new house in the Miami Gardens area. God. I thought I got away from all this.
But I'm gonna have to stick with Aaron Rodgers as much as I think Brady has still has some lightning still left in him. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to overcome Green Bay. We've seen what they did to the Rams last week, and
I think Green Bay. Now you can disagree if you want. This could be a hell of a debate. I think Green Bay is the more complete football team. I think they're better coached. I think their whole offense is clicking. In a way this year, in the second year of that system, that they've been really tough to stop all year, and that defense is really, really solid. And doesn't get enough credit because obviously, anytime you're on a team with Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be hard for anybody to get credit, or at least as much credit. The spotlight. Aaron Rodgers hogs a lot of the spotlight, not like because he's an attention whore or anything, but just because when you're Aaron Rodgers. The cameras, the media, everybody, the attention's on you. And, he's thrown how many touchdowns this year and only 4 interceptions, 48 touchdowns, 4 picks, whatever the hell the fucking crazy number was that he just threw this year. That's going to get all the attention, and they're not going to focus as much on the defense. But
there's one, Don. Another point Don brings up. If Brady were to lose, he hangs it up. I don't. I think I think
he might play till he's 50, Don. Like, really, he said, I'll play till I'm 45. And then just to stick it to somebody he's going to play for another few years. 45, well, hell, maybe 47. He's just going to keep going. The man, he's ageless, dude. Like, age is like fine wine. It's fucking amazing. What are you going to do? Doesn't look 43 now, does he? So, I mean, unless that changes at some point, I know. I mean, age catches up with you, everybody at some point, but it don't look like it's catching up with him anytime soon. The only man that's been able to outrun Father Time so far has been Tom Brady. It's amazing. Look, what's the one thing that Green Bay has this year that they haven't ever had any other time in Aaron Rodgers' time? They've got a great running game, too, right? Like, they've got a legitimate run-it-down-your-throat running game.
There's a nice point by Ted Pete here, too. Zadarius Smith's numbers over the last 2 years for him.
Yeah, that's for Green Bay, right? Yeah, so again, you come up.
And it's funny. Remember how people were all up in arms when they got rid of what was it, like the linebacker that plays for
Blake Martinez.
Yeah, they plays for the Giants now, Blake Martinez. They were all up in arms about that. The first year I think he had like 100 and some odd tackles and all this, and everyone was like, "Oh, why'd you get rid of him?" Well, this is why you get rid of a guy like that. You don't have to pay that contract.
And this is my argument for why I don't spend the 6th overall pick on a guy like Micah Parsons, because I get it. We want a stud linebacker because we haven't had one in 40 years. It feels like we haven't had a stud linebacker since Seth Joyner, right? If we're being honest, like Trot was a really,
man, you can't take that from Trot, man.
Trot was a really good player, but Seth Joyner's a Hall of
You're not
Famer.
going to slander
Joyner's a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame, right?
Trot had some deficiencies, but stop it, dude. You can't steal that from him.
We love Trot in the city, but Trot was nowhere close to a Hall of Famer. Seth Joyner, when you look at his, I mean, there's like everybody seems to think, myself included, when like Seth Joyner should be in the Hall of Fame. If Brian Urlacher's in the Hall of Fame, Seth Joyner should be. He's not. Whether he ever gets in, I don't know. But when you look at the guy, he's a Hall of Fame linebacker. We haven't had a guy of that caliber at the position since him, right? So that's going back 30 years now, close to 30 years or whatever, right? I get it. You know, people ache for the times of having guys like that, having guys like Trotter that we had growing up. They're like, hell yeah, like you said, hell, they're not even worried about Seth Joyner. You give him a Trotter and they'll be happy, right? Okay, well, great. Like, Trotter, what was Trotter? A 3rd round pick, 4th round pick? I mean, you know, like spending a 6th overall pick on a linebacker in today's NFL, like it's not for what? What are we going to do? We're going to go sign the guy to a $100 million contract after that? Like, you see what happens with this. Like even the best linebackers, you see a great defense. Okay, go ahead and walk and get overpaid by somebody else because it's just not a position of value the way that it was when Lawrence Taylor was tearing up the league. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm skeptical at drafting a linebacker at 6. Is like, what's the long-term value there?
Well, more or less, what you're thinking is because the way that the Eagles' defense is kind of set up is more set up from the pass rush and the.
Well, we have no idea how it's going to be set up at this moment, and you know,
as it's currently constructed. As it's poorly currently constructed.
Okay. From what we know of the defense at this moment, right?
But like I said, that you don't know what they're going to be doing to kind of retool this team, and I don't want to get too far ahead with going with Philadelphia because you know I still gotta go over and touch on the AFC real quick before we dive into some Eagles talk. And you know, obviously you guys are talking about the Bills and the Chiefs, and you know I'm definitely with you, but I wouldn't be upset if the Bills were to happen to kind of try to you know, pull the Cinderella story, find the glass slipper, the whole nine, and you know.
I don't think anybody would be upset by it. You know,
here's the thing: as much as you sit there and say that they wouldn't want that, Josh Allen is a guy the league could get behind. So I mean,
Josh Allen ain't making the league shit right now compared to what Patrick Mahomes is making
him. Now, the guy's
compared to what Aaron Rodgers is making him. Compared to what Tom Brady's making him.
Let's be real. He ascended last year, correct? Correct.
I mean, he's ascended on the football field, but he's still not like. When you look at Josh Allen, like I don't see I don't think like you look at somebody like, oh, there's a marketable face for the league. Like, he's a great football player, that's all good, but like I mean, yeah, the league doesn't like if the league's looking at this, you know who they want. Now, obviously, they can't just go control what happens in the game, but you know who the league wants. The league wants Mahomes to be able to square off with one of those two legendary all-time quarterbacks. That's what they want. You know it is.
I'm definitely with you, but like I said, I wouldn't be upset. I was a fan of that run and shoot offense that the Bills had back in the days. So
it's almost like their own one, is it not? Like they should have at least had one.
Yeah, you definitely do feel like that. Like you know, the cosmic world owes them one. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone was kind of pulling for the Browns up until, you know, they lost last week, and then that's kind of the new attachment this week. And after whoever comes out, you know, the winner Sunday night, we'll have another one.
Well, I said that was going to happen last week with the Browns. The same reason everybody's doing it with the Bills, because once you're on top, and right now the Chiefs are on top, they're the defending champs, right? They're like the sexy name, you know. People are tired of hearing the media always talk about Mahomes this or Mahomes that, right? And it's just. People find reasons to want to be like, oh, I want to see them lose now. And they get tired of people's success real quick in sports. They just do. That's what fucking sports fans do. You know, so they get tired of seeing one team dominate or one team have a bunch of success, and they want to see a good story knock that team off the top. So they wanted to see Cleveland do that. Sure, a lot of people want to see Buffalo do that. Yeah. You know, from a football perspective, I'm not mad about it if Buffalo wins. I actually think one of the intriguing things not being talked about that in the Buffalo Kansas City game is McDermott being a member of the Andy Reid coaching tree, at one point being a defensive coach under Andy Reid, obviously here in Philadelphia, right? So, and then when you look at who else is on that Buffalo staff, they've got Leslie Frazier on that defensive staff. He's another former Andy Reid disciple from the Andy Reid coaching tree that was the head coach of Minnesota for a few years. So you've got like guys on that Buffalo like sideline coaching staff that are almost like looking across the sidelines and like there's the mentor, right? And
I don't think I could stomach that. I
I
don't think I could stomach another one of that, Eileen. I know he's your boy. I get it. I get the love, but come on, I can't.
Well, he
going with the Chiefs over the Bills, and I think it'll be a closer game. Like I think actually we might have a little bit more higher, probably like in the mid 30s, somewhere around there. Yeah, I don't think the defenses are going to be stationed in this game. I think the lower scoring game might be the Packer game and Tampa Bay game, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And the Bills are going to have Kenny Stills Sunday too. So, like I just said.
Ooh, now I'm scared.
He's the guy who opens the field up for other guys too. Stop it.
Why do I care?
What's up, Chuck?
You're gonna have Kenny Stills. Whoop-de fucking do.
Yeah, Chuck is with it. He's on the Aaron Rodgers train.
Yeah, because Chuck is a smart football guy.
See, Eileen knows what it is. It's a tall task to go in there to do that in Lambeau Field. Very few people can do that. And she's with it on the Bills train too. So
see that thing? Oh, I hope because I loathe KC. What is there to loathe about Kansas City? I see this one. I don't fit. Like Andy Reid's like one of the most straight up head coaches in football, right?
There's not much that I don't get hating that organization. I don't.
Yeah, like Mahomes seems like a real straight up dude. Andy's real straight up. Like they got rid of that piece of shit Kareem Hunt after what happened with him and the lady in the elevator or the lady in the hotel or whatever. Yep. Like they've proven that like we ain't putting up with certain nonsense. Although I guess Tyreek Hill's still there, so you can take that for what it is. But maybe that's why people hate him. Maybe it's Tyreek Hill. Maybe that's like, oh, fuck this organization. No, maybe that's why. I could get it if that's the explanation. I can understand.
All right, so I think it's we've kind of addressed the issues of what we feel with the NFC and AFC championships. Obviously, we're gonna have to get into the Eagles news of the week. Some people happy, some people disappointed, some people are scratching their heads.
Eileen is a hater. Why are you drinking the haterade? She can't stand Mahomes? What's wrong with Mahomes? I gotta hear this.
Uh-oh.
She's gonna say something silly like I don't like the way his voice sounds or something. Like watch. Like I'm telling you.
I mean, she likes Andy, so like get the thumbs up there. We gotta get to the bottom of this. We gotta talk this out. There's no reason to walk around with such hatred for a man like that. I mean, unless it's a personal thing because you lost because your team lost the game.
Yeah, maybe that's it. She don't like that they beat her Patriots a couple years ago.
She just doesn't care for him. That's it. She's just not elaborating.
Oh.
So blind hatred. Okay, gotcha. We get it. Sometimes we have it too, so we can't.
We do that in this city. Yeah, we do that in this city.
Yeah, like so we can't tear it down too much for it. So
this fan base is plenty guilty of that.
Yeah, my neighbor hates me for no reason.
I mean, I think they got plenty of reasons, Steven.
No, actually not.
If I lived next to you, I'd probably hate you too.
Like I said,
damn, I gotta see this guy once a week on the show, and then I gotta see him every fucking day outside the show. Oh.
All right, so the hiring has come. Want to get your thoughts on this one, brother? We get the guy from Indianapolis, not the one that
I tell you last week. What did I tell you last week?
Yes, sir. What did you tell me?
What did I say here? As I sat here on A2D with you and Tom, and I said, anybody but Deuce, right? Anybody but Deuce, and I'm happy. I said, you give me Todd Bowles at that point, and I'd probably be happy just because it wasn't Deuce. This is, listen, I can't be mad at it. It's got potential. What did I say about the Joe Brady hire? I said if we hire a guy like Joe Brady, I'm cool with it. Why? Because if it blows up in our face, so what? Who cares? We're not in a great position anyway. You take a shot on a young guy that you feel like has the potential, has the ability to fix, whatever you feel like the issue is, and that's what they've done here. Whether it works out or not, I don't know. If it doesn't work out and it blows up in our face, you can just fire him in 2 years, and all of a sudden you can start fresh with a bunch of cap space and all that finally. So I think it's low risk, high reward for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a young guy that the one thing I really like about him, everything that like people that he's coached with or people that have played for him have said, is that he has no problem coaching you hard. He will coach you hard. He's got no problem doing it. Phillip Rivers has said it, right? Frank Reich talked about it. Anthony Lynn talked about it. So I like that side of it, because I think part of that was my issue with Doug and everything and that whole dynamic was that.
Of course, Tom's going to have to come in and weigh in a few minutes. So Big Dad is joining us in a few.
I know Tom is going to. He's obviously got an opinion about this as well. He's got in the same boat. He's like, I don't really. He didn't really care who it was because he didn't trust who was fucking running it. But he doesn't trust Howie and Jeff, so it's hard to really have an opinion other than, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Well, I mean,
that's okay.
On the women's side of things, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay, hold on, Eileen. I'll add that down to my reasons to like Nick Sirianni, or however you say his name. Okay. He's sexy, and Eileen would lick his chest. Okay, that can be that. We can add that to the reasons to like him.
Here's the thing, you have to think about it on at least from where Eileen's coming from. You go from Doug Peterson to Nick Sirianni, and the immediate sex appeal.
We don't even have to say the fucking guy's name yet. We're over here. All Eileen gives a fuck about. She's like, I don't care what his name is. I just want to lick his chest. But that's all Eileen cares about at this point. And we've gone off the rails officially 26 minutes in.
What else is new?
I think it's got potential, and that's all I wanted. That's why I didn't want to do Staley. It's just we needed something fresh. At least somebody. By fresh, I mean somebody from outside the building, because Deuce was somebody that watched this at its peak, and then he watched it nosedive and just completely, nosedive into the ground. So I didn't want to see him be here. He watched it get as ugly as it could possibly get, hit rock bottom. I'd rather bring in somebody from outside the organization that hasn't been a part of that to try to fix it. If they think he can fix Carson, obviously that's the big deal, right? The organization thinks that Nick Sirianni, or however the hell you say his name, they think he can fix Carson, that he's the right guy to fix Carson. And if he fixes Carson, well, then you know what? Great hire, right? I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. If he doesn't fix Carson, and we still find a way to have a great offense with whoever the fuck the quarterback ends up being, okay, great hire. It's very low risk, high reward for me, because it could blow up in our face. It could be awful, but I'm still not going to care, because I could look at it and say in 2 years I just move on, and we have a bunch of cap space, a lot of new players that we could be moving on to, a lot of potential with whatever new regime you have. And if it blows up bad enough, that means Howie finally probably sees the door too. But what is it not a positive? We bitch about Howie, and then we're kind of hearing through the grapevine a little bit that John Dorsey had a little bit of influence in this hire, that maybe Howie, like Lori finally was listening to somebody that wasn't Howie Roseman. And, if John Dorsey was the guy that was able to get that point through to say, hey, this is the kid, this is the guy you need to hire. I'll tell you what, I trust John Dorsey a lot more than I trust Howie Roseman.
Oh, Tom's in the back. All right, hold on. Let's pop him in here. What are you doing, Cappy Town? Oh, no, he's not ready yet. Oh, my bad.
He's not ready yet. He's probably, he's got to make sure his hair looks good, because,
hair, really? What I'll say, I'm glad it wasn't in-house, because that was something I was a little concerned about. And it's not anything against Deuce. And you've seen, some former players, current players was kind of upset. It kind of looked like it was just to, appease the Rooney Rule, whatever. And, if he feels like this isn't the place for him, then he should probably go. And I hate to say that, because, just love what he's done for this city and team as a person. But sometimes you get to a point where,
staff, Steven. Whole new coaching staff. I need a whole new coaching staff. I need you to bring in everybody. Everybody's new. I don't want to keep a single assistant coach. I'm even mad we're keeping the stupid fucking special teams guy that we blocked the team from. Whoever wanted to interview him, we blocked him. He's a special teams coach. I can't wait. Like we blocked the special teams coach where his best strategy on punt returns is maybe we'll catch it, maybe we won't. I can't wait to see that strategy continue going in the future.
Now,
the punt guy that played the maybe.
I mean, I
catch it,
think
maybe he
the
won't
the
be.
plus side of things, like things you mentioned, like he has no problem like coaching these guys hard. He kind of has a voice to the locker room. These guys listen to him. He's a
I
fun
think
young.
that's what we need right now.
You know, he's kind of like that like how Gruden was early in his career. You know what I mean?
I mean, if he can be a young Gruden, I'll take it.
I mean, listen, he got it done at the end of the day, right?
I would hope he has a little bit more. I mean, I guess we can't Gruden won a Super Bowl, but I don't know. Gruden's a bit of a flake, in my opinion, too. So I don't want him to be a flake like that. Like
no,
Gruden,
but you know what I mean. Like
flake.
One of these smart, intelligent, young, offensive-minded guys
Sure.
who winds up having a good run here. I mean, that's what you hope that this is. And like you said, you hope that this has more Dorsey's fingerprints all over it than anything that Roseman has to do, and it continues to be that way.
From the Philly area, or at least enough from the Philly area, where like grew up, in the Philly metropolitan area. They were interviewing his parents on Action News and stuff the other night. The one thing that I like about that is that means he's somebody.
Look at Eileen. Oh my God, Eileen, stop it! Stop it! You're gonna make me go get the freaking garbage can. Stop it, Eileen.
I mean, you got some competition there. Have you seen Belichick's old lady? Holy shit! Good Lord, I don't know how he convinced her to suck that old dick, but goddamn, he did. Yeah, man, that man is money is a powerful drug to beautiful women. I'll tell you. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Dan Campbell. You see his interview. I told you it was Dan Campbell, not Dan Caldwell. Dan Campbell talking about. We're going to get knocked down, and on the way back up, we're going to bite off your kneecaps. Like, this dude is insane. How many lines of cocaine did that dude bump before that interview?
Man, all I got to say is, like, listen.
I'm with Gruden.
But it's not just that. It's also the fact that he's going to be able to right the Carson ship. Whatever's going on.
That's what this is all going to come down to, right? He's got 2 years to fix the Carson ship. That's what I mean. Literally, I think that's what this deal is. Forget about how many years on the contract. He's got 2 years to fix Carson, right? Because then we have a way out of Carson's contract. So either he fixes them or he doesn't. Or he decides, when he figures out real quick, whatever, I can't fix him. We're moving on in this direction, or whatever direction he moves on into is successful. But I don't like see this as like people gonna be talking about.
The chat room has gone off the rails. By the way, the chat room has gone off the rails. By the way,
I'm with you, Eileen. That's what I said. Money's a powerful drug to beautiful women, especially when you're 65 years old. What do you think? He's tapping that because he's good looking? Like, no, he's tapping that because he's rich.
But now on the other side of things, what do you think? What do you hope that Nick is going to implement that is going to help Carson? And who do you think that outside of Carson that he's currently going to impact the most?
I mean, I think there's a couple options for him to bring in as far as I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as the play calling structure goes there. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings in an offensive coordinator and says, here, you call the plays. I'm focused on fixing this. And it's hard for me to fix this if I've also got to focus on running the whole offense. So my focus is you run the offense. I'm fixing this, meaning the quarterback position, right? Meaning Carson Wentz. Because let's be honest, that's why he was brought here. He wasn't brought here to be like, hey, we're drafting a new quarterback with the 6th overall pick and we're starting over. That's not why he was brought here. They would have just promoted Deuce if they're going to go do something stupid like that. The whole reason why they didn't promote Deuce and they were looking at a guy like McDaniels or eventually settled on Sirianni is because it's obvious that they felt like they needed somebody that is a quarterback guy that, can fix him. And Deuce, one, isn't a quarterback guy, and two, has been here, and then there was all the reports about how he didn't like how we were coddling him and all that. Okay, we're past all that. I don't like how we coddled him either. But the bottom line is you can't get out of the contract. As we've been saying right over the past 2 months, they've realized they can't get out of the contract, so you had to move on to your next best option, which was bring in somebody to fix the fucking guy. And that's what it comes down to.
And then Ted's bringing up a point too. He thinks that the wide receivers, Rager. Here's the thing: if he can get Rager to be what his draft status said he should be, and get at least mild production out of JJ Arcega-Whiteside, you don't have to go after a wide receiver with that first round draft pick.
If he could get like Rager to be like Keenan Allen was in San Diego for him, right? When he was there under Anthony Lynn, with Phillip Rivers, or if you could get him to even be like a T.Y. Hilton, like the way T.Y. Hilton was during his time in Indianapolis. Like, that's what you need to get out of him. I do like some of the things that, like, apparently what he's known for, what he wants to do offensively, he tries to get guys the ball in space, not just receivers, but running backs too. 3-4 yards past the line of scrimmage, get him the ball in space, let him run with it after the catch. I think that stuff, Miles Sanders will be good with that. Boston Scott will be good with that. Jalen Rager's good with that. What's his name? Quez Watkins has already proven he's good at that. Like, took one to the house doing something like that earlier. So we've got some guys that you look at and say, good, that's the type of stuff I want to see. It's great. It's great to try to be excited about it, right? But we've played this game before. We're not in a position to let's all be optimistic. No, we're at fucking rock bottom. And the bottom line is, I'm not going to sit here. We want to talk about coddling people. We're not going to sit here and coddle this guy as the head coach, right? We know why he was brought here. You're either fixing Carson Wentz or you're not. And if you don't fix the guy in 2 years and he's still stinking up the joint and he's still one of the worst quarterbacks in football, I'm expecting to fire Nick Sirianni too, because that whole experiment didn't fucking work, right? You're like, hey, you brought him to do a specific job, you didn't do it. So enough with the long leashes and being patient and yada, 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 and that nonsense. That's not the 2021 NFL, right? That's just not the NFL anymore.
Oh, my God.
You've got a couple years to figure shit out.
Eileen has an issue with licking things, apparently.
Yo,
Tom, hey,
what up?
What's up, brother?
Nothing, just agreeing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just on the back end agreeing. Just back here shaking my head. Yup, and yup.
I mean, like this. Listen, we all had our favorites. We all guys we like. We all had things that we thought were going to play out. No one really saw this. We didn't see the Andy when he was coming. We didn't see Doug when he was coming, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not having the sexy pick, the one that everyone wants. As long as this guy can produce and do what he's brought in here to do. I already made a couple points. I'm sure you already heard. As long as he stays within that, like, he doesn't have to be the next greatest guru of this, that, or the third. Stay within what you got. Fix what's here. Retool this team over the next 2-3 years and go win a couple bowls.
That's it. Listen, the sexy doesn't necessarily win. I mean, it wins for Eileen, obviously. Sexy wins for the lady. Factual information there. Sexy doesn't necessarily win. And the guy everybody loves doesn't necessarily win. And the only issue I had is, like, when nobody really liked the Doug Peterson when it was hired, but there's, like, I hate to be the guy that says there's tape, but there's tape of the things I did like. Like, I like the leader. I like the fact that I knew for a fact he was around winners his entire career. From a player to a coach, he was around winning organizations that were title game contenders, Super Bowl contenders. Shula Marino, right? Holmgren Favre, okay? And then Andy, obviously Donovan, and then Andy again. So he was always around guys who knew what it took, per se, right? When I look at Sirianni, I like the what I think is a smart mind coming in. I do like that side of it. I do like play calling, design, relating to young players. I think that all that's a positive, right? My only concern is he's been around organizations. That is my only concern. Now, that doesn't mean, because we see a lot of coordinators around good organizations for 1 year or 2 years, and they get hired and they end up falling flat on their face. So that doesn't necessarily equal success. But with Andy, same thing with Andy. Everybody said, oh, well, nobody knew what Andy was. Dude, he was in Green Bay forever.
Yeah, he got a bunch of credit for grooming Brett Favre.
Yeah, so forever. So he's, there was things behind him. Now you see my last thing about Doug, and it's because he's gone, right? It's almost like in politics, like he's gone. Stop talking about him. He's gone. My last thing about Doug is look what Jalen Mills said today. Okay, all I've been trying to tell people was this guy's a scapegoat for 11's failures and for this roster's failures this year. And I've been saying that. That doesn't mean he gets off the hook for, what up, Poppy?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It
doesn't mean he
needs to go out.
Listen, my guy just sits at the back door and cries all the time. Jack knows it from a puppy. He's a problem. But the one thing, like, he's a scapegoat for all the other failures. That doesn't mean he was perfect, right? So that's my only concern is you're seeing players like Jalen Mills who, like, I'm going to take it for what that is. Like, I believe players more than sources, right? When players go to social media, they say, like, exactly what Jalen Mills said today, that like, wow, now we're like trying to say Doug's a bad coach. Like, that's not true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that just shows you that you got guys that were here or not going to be here anymore or whatever that are saying like, whoa, come on. Now it's getting out of control. Like he wasn't a bad coach. There's always a fall guy and stuff. And there's always a fall guy when the top two guys in the organization love each other. There's going to be a fall guy when there's failure. So it's him. Fine. Now, let's hope that I don't need this guy coming in with all the control. Okay? I just need him to be able to relate to players. And like Zach was saying, dude, your job really isn't even as much wins and losses right now, per se, and it is, but it's getting 11 right. Because if you don't get 11 right, it's a failure of a hire then. It's because they did this whole hire for him. I mean, look at it. I mean, listen, I've been a Carson defender, but I'm not, like, I get it. You got to hire somebody that's going to relate to him. But
once they get out of that contract, they almost like realize we don't have a choice, right? Like, the best option is we got to find, we're almost in a position we have no choice. We've got to find a way to fix them because we can't get out of this position we put ourselves in by signing into that deal. We talked about this for the past couple months, but when you look at it, it's really hard to fathom a way where they're getting out of that contract. So I'm not a fan of sitting here and saying you're picking the quarterback over the coach, however you want to word it, if even that's the fair way to put it. But the bottom line is they almost had no choice just because of how the financial situation works in the league. You can't afford to just have a $30 million backup. You've got to do everything you can to try to get that guy right, to get as much out of him as you possibly can right now. You just have to.
Here's the quote.
And, 2 years, you have a way out of that deal.
Here's a quote for Jalen, if you guys didn't see it yet. He said, "Don't let them people lie to y'all. Doug was a hell of a coach." So that's all I've been trying to say.
But I think they're saying the same thing that I think me and you have said over the years, is that everybody that seems to play under Doug says Doug's a great leader of men, right? And I've never disputed that. I absolutely think he's a great leader of men. Doug could have saved his job if he would have given up play calling or control of the offense in the middle of last year. You know what I mean? Like, or even going into this year, sort of thing. And I think that was part of what led to him getting fired too. Was that he didn't want to give up.
You're lying. You're lying. He had enough in the
court. That saves his job if he gives up control of the offense, and somebody else is now the one that's responsible for the offense being one of the worst in football. Because then I think it's easier for him to say, "I'm still the great leader of men." It wasn't me that is responsible for the offense not being.
But slam on the brakes. Slam on the brakes for 1 second, right? Everything in context. Everything in context, Zach. Last year, he had an offensive coordinator, okay? And Mike Rowe. I don't call him plays, not call him plays, doesn't matter. He had somebody. Just hear me out. He made the case because he wanted him back, all right? They fired him 24 hours later, all right? The organization, after he went to bat for his staff, okay? Now, fast forward. What happens in March? We get hit with COVID, slows everything up. They're probably not going to go outside the organization at that point to get somebody. So at that point, he's like, okay, shit, I'll just call my own plays this year, right? Instead of going outside the organization. I'm thinking like they're thinking. Now, you're right, though, because he fell on his own sword this year, right? He fell on his own sword. McVay's done it.
Stubbornness.
Yeah, well, I don't call it stubbornness. I call it what transpired. Right? Like what transpired from February of last year, March on, where you're sort of handcuffed on probably going and getting a guy for your offensive coordinator because you have no.
But he had a chance to bring in Jim Caldwell. They were talking about him bringing in Jim Caldwell in January for an interview before any of the COVID stuff. And he didn't. He decided, fuck it. So
I don't agree. I just think he had no say. So, I mean, but whatever.
Why did the organization bring in somebody, though? That's what I'm saying. Like, all that stuff, you can say it's all of those, it's a chain of events then. All of those things are a chain of events. But my point is, like, has he been made the scapegoat? Maybe a little bit, but my point to that is that he helped contribute to that by being, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. In my opinion,
they're both bad hires. Point blank, period. Both of them are bad hires. Bro, Press Taylor, whatever.
Sure.
You haven't had a good play caller. You haven't had good bounce play calling here since Reich left. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, but who went the back to keep Frank Reich? The same guy who got fired, the same guy who tried to go to bat for Mike Rowe, and they didn't let him go to bat. So, I think everything.
Why would he go to bat for Mike Rowe anyway? Like that's my point. Like, why would Doug Peterson go to bat for Mike Rowe or for Press Taylor? Like, why would you go to bat for them?
Why would the organization try to fire Frank Reich after 2016 and Doug got to go to bat for him? Why would that happen?
Well, okay, because the organization, because they're stupid. That's fine.
They're inept.
Right. Okay, but we don't disagree about that. But the point is, do we disagree about Press Taylor being inept? About Mike Rowe being inept?
No, we agree, babe. Mike Rowe's dad couldn't coach. Mike Rowe's dad couldn't coach. So
we agree about that. That's my point there. Is like so like that's another like for me. That's the thing that like Doug does to himself there by going to bat and trying to defend Mike Rowe to the organization, saying I still want him to be my assistant. I don't really like that shit that weighs on it. You can say stop it all you want, Tom. It matters.
No. I'm not telling you to stop. I said I get all that. There's not truth to that side too. Like, dude, I'm a guy that like I just pick both sides. Like, I don't disagree with a lot of the things that are true. Like, and then I also have the things I'm going to stand on a hill for. But going back to the coach, the big question is what you guys are just saying is and people out there in the fan was like offensive coordinators, right? This is great. Listen, he's a great play caller, supposedly, okay? Or has a good mind, a young mind, right? But he can't be the play caller. That's the thing.
I'm with Tom there. I'm with you.
I don't want to go through that again. I need somebody to come in and call plays so he can focus specifically on fixing everything else that's wrong with this offense and this football team.
Guys he trusts, right? And the biggest question of them all isn't even going to be who's his offensive coordinator. Okay? The biggest question of them all, boys, is going to be who the hell the defensive coordinator is, because Jeffrey Lurie said that he don't care about the defense. So I am really interested in the direction draft-wise.
Well, and that's what me and Zach were talking about, like as we were getting before into it, because like I said, if some of these things you can work out, like if Siriann can get some stuff out of the wide receivers, you don't have to really go offense, and you can really concentrate on retooling that defense. Getting cornerbacks, maybe getting a younger inside and outside on that defensive front. I mean, we also, as much as we love Brandon Graham, we have to realize he's going to be gone in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Or his production is going to seriously slip over the next 2 years.
Love BG, but
does the Sirianni
it's going to happen as much as I love him, and it's going to suck for us to have to sit there and go through it and still have to. Awesome.
I promise that one, Zach. What were you saying?
Does the Sirianni hire make you think that, like, all of a sudden with that 6th overall pick, because of what you said with Lurie in the defense, that Surtain and guys like that, like if Chase or Devontae Smith, if they're on the board, they're definitely going wide receiver just because?
I hate it.
I'm starting to get that vibe.
I hate it here, Zach. I hate it here, okay? Because how many times, we talked about it last night, you can't go to the well again. You have 4 to 5 young wide receivers on this roster. You can't go to the goddamn well again. I love Devontae Smith. I would literally give him a guy a hand job in a dark alley for Devontae. You understand?
Like in a dorm room? I think you looked like you said a hand job in a dorm room for a minute. I thought that's where you were going. I was a little bit like, oh, we need a little bit more privacy than that.
Either way, I'm willing to go do things for guys to get guys here.
I don't think he'll be there, but I'm probably more on the cornerback. Give me Surtain.
Yeah, I mean, so you can focus on fixing the offense a lot easier when you got 2 lockdown corners on each side of your defense that are shutting down other teams' receivers and keeping their offense off the field. It's a lot easier for you to go out there knowing that, okay, we're not going to have to score 30 points to win. Fixing this offense, we can do what we got to do to go through the motions deal and fix it. It helps a lot to know the defense on the other side is going to be shutting people down for you.
Well, Zach, everybody talks about quarterback's best friend or weapons. Well, another quarterback's best friend is a good defense, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody talks about, like...
Ask Mark Sanchez about that one.
I'm like a firefighter, babe. I'm fighting fire with water, right? All these guys out there want to fight fire with fire, right? You fight fire with fire. Oh, we got to go score with Kansas City, or we got to go score with Green Bay, etc. Right? No. I'm going to put out your fire. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to get the big hose out and go get 2 corners that can flat out shut guys down. And guess what that does for everybody? It makes everybody's life a little bit easier. Everybody's. I get Najee Harris in the second round. I get Najee Harris in the second round. Okay? And I can go like that. And now how about I upgrade what I need to upgrade for sure, which is I need a second back. You want to help your quarterback out? Put a good defense together and put a great running game together.
And this is how you get it done down the bottom. And this is how you get it done. You're going to have to get rid of Zach Ertz and maybe some of the other contracts on that defensive interior, whether it be Malik Jackson, whether it be Hargrave, however you want to work in it.
You can I'm to the point where you could literally any contract like that. And I know people are like, but I love Zach Ertz and he got me this and he was a part of that. I'm to the point I literally do not care if I can get out of this contract with a trade and it doesn't fucking kill me cap wise. I'm doing
He's a freaking nature. He's a freaking nature. That's how it happens.
I don't care if it's Zach Ertz. I don't care if it's Fletcher Cox. I don't care who it is. We can get a trade and get this for him, and it's $2 million in dead cap space. Good. Just move on, please. Let's do it. I don't need to suffer through this for another year. Just start making the moves. If you really don't give a fuck about, it's a rebuild, as Jeffrey Lurie said. Just fucking do it then. Just
all right. I'm gonna tear this one apart here. We don't need to get Wentz a wide receiver. We just need to get him right. He has wide receivers. He has young wide receivers. He has young wide receivers that can make plays. We see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside make plays. It's just not consistency in any facet. That's all it is.
Quince Watkins take a screen pass 50 yards to the house, right? Tommy, I know you're a huge fan of guys that can do that.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't need to go get him a wide receiver in the draft. We don't need to do that.
I mean, it's so sad that there's Surtain and Jamar Chase in this draft. That's what's sad about it. Okay, but I get them two talents. And first off, Porter Rock, I have no idea how I don't lose my voice. It's like, God just gave me one thing and that's it. It's sad because they're two guys I'm extremely high on. Devontae Smith, there's not a better route runner in this draft. And inside, outside doesn't matter. Jamar Chase, an outside guy, little different, more of an explosive guy too, though, but more of an outside guy. Smith, better route runner, doesn't matter. I'll take either one of them. But the problem is that we just went last year with a first-round pick. We drafted 3 wide receivers in last year's draft, okay? 3 of them, all right? Now, you go back to the year before, you drafted one in the second round. How many times can you go there? Like, now you're really saying we missed. Listen, you got to go.
I'm fine with them saying that. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I'm with
I'm a playmaker. Like,
if I'm Dorsey, if I'm Howie, if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm going cornerback, linebacker in the first 2 picks. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I think I can get a good.
If not a linebacker, an edge rusher, something to that effect. Somebody who can make it. Like if you don't feel that you're going to make that transition with Josh Sweat and whoever else you like as your young ends, then you're going to have to go do something.
How about the idea though of like an Asante Samuel Jr. or somebody like he's going to be there early in the second round for you? There's a possibility he's going to be there. Maybe you can find a way with one of these trades. You get a second first round pick or something. I mean, is there a way to possibly get that? Like if you're thinking maybe they don't take Surtain at 6 and they do take a guy like Chase. But if you get a guy like Asante Samuel's kid, later on, like all of a sudden I'm digging that. Like, listen, I'm really cool with that idea.
Zach, there's ways to do it, guys. Like, Sonny, I'm a big Smith guy. So, like, it concerns me to pass on him if he's there. Like, I look at it like this. Smith, Surtain, Chase, and I'll put Parsons in there because he's a baller. All right? I know he didn't play this year. And you would have seen how much of a baller he is, and that's linebacker you. Okay? 4 guys that if any of them 4 are there, I leave this first round feeling good, like feeling better about my football team. So don't think we're saying no way draft a wide receiver. You're not in a position to say no to nothing. You're in a position to say who's the best guy out of them 4 guys, because one of them 4 guys is going to be there. Who do we have ranked highest and go to bed? But I wanted to ask Sonny. You be mad? Like I know people would be mad if we pass on Smith, but if you pass on Smith for Surtain, are you mad?
See, I wouldn't disagree with this either. Here,
Joseph. Yeah,
I go with that.
Smith and then I'm cool with that too. Smith, Chase. I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with either one of those with the 6th pick. And Tommy, like you said, I'm with you. Any of those 4 names, you give me somebody that I feel like is going to be an impact player on this football team early on. I'm cool with them at the 6th overall pick.
I mean, Surtain's pro ready. I know people are talking about pro ready, but like Surtain's like big time pro ready. Sorry, we both clicked on the same thing, Steve. I mean, he's big time pro ready. I mean, go watch. Listen, I watch tons of Bama games. I usually don't miss on freaking corners. That's the one position I usually don't miss on. I'm a big SEC guy. I don't watch as much outside the SEC. That's just my little nest of like the minor leagues. But I've been wrong plenty of times. But like what I watch is a guy that's never out of position. that's calm and collective and confident at the cornerback position. Okay? That's what I watch. So to me, he's absolutely pro ready. Now, listen, you got to really, I don't know what I do at 6 if Smith and Surtain are both there. I don't know. Like, I love Smith so much that I don't know if I can pass on him. And I love Surtain. Like, I'm in that, I'm in that relationship right now. Like, I don't know what girl I love more, right? Because I love them both so much, and I've been advocate to both of them that now I'm in such. I was like he's got like we'll put the hands down. I don't know, guys. Like that's what I'm telling the family. Like I'm in that bad shape with it. Jamar Chase, not as much. Like I'm not a Jamar Chase guy like I am Smith. I'm just not. But I'll take him in a heartbeat.
I'll tell you what. I saw Chase. Chase was doing a workout the other day, and there's obviously the videos wherever of it. His hands are. I mean, it's the way the dude just catches the football. Everything with his hand. I mean, he caught a ball behind him that was like just badly misthrown, and he snatched it out of mid. I was like, that's pretty. Like that's good stuff there. Like that's a guy that comes in and changes your offense.
There you go, Don. Don just hit it on the head, though.
Chase excited me with what I saw with his ability to make catches on balls that were way off target because we kind of have two quarterbacks that seem to throw the ball off target quite a bit if you're following along with me here. So if Devontae Smith can run such a great route and then he gets missed on like a poorly thrown football by Wentz or Hurts, you know what I mean? It's like almost like it's going to hurt that much more. You're like, oh my God, the dude was just wide open because he just burnt crispy the quarterback. And we've got two quarterbacks that can't fucking hit a guy wide open in stride. Oh, it's infuriating. You know, like, I almost like want to say like, give me the dude that I know can catch a ball with such a crazy catch radius because I feel like maybe we might need that right now with no matter who's playing quarterback, whether it's Carson or Jalen Hurts. But I'm happy either way. I mean, like if I'm nitpicking with saying here and saying I like one guy over the other. For me, they're 1A and 1B. Like I feel like you can find things about it. Maybe one's better at this, but like they're really, really equal as far as prospects go.
I don't think either one's a miss.
I'm with you. That's a good way to put it.
Jason Smith, I don't think either one's a miss guy. Surtain and Parsons, I don't think are miss guys. I think they're 10-year pros. I don't know if they're going to be stars, but I know they're 10-year pros, right?
Yeah.
That's how I sort of look at these guys. When you talk about Smith and Chase, they have more star power per se, where Surtain's just more like consistent. It's weird.
Are you comfortable with taking a linebacker with the 6th overall pick? Like, that's the one thing for me. I just don't look at linebackers in today's NFL like the comment we had earlier about all the elite linebackers, all these stud linebackers in the playoffs. And great, like a lot of them with 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks and like guys like that, you know what I mean? Like, or late 1st round picks. Like, you're not taking a guy with 6. Like,
you might want to look at your boys right in Tampa, baby. When you tell me you don't take top 10.
Top 10, okay, but 6? I mean, to me, I don't like. Is linebacker enough of an impact position in anybody's defense for them to be like for you to sit there and say, I'm going to take him with the 6th overall pick over Surtain or 2 elite wide receivers.
From Morocco, look at that.
maybe if he was the only guy there left out of Surtain and the 2 receivers. If Surtain, the 2 receivers go, I'm cool with Parsons. But I feel like of those 4 guys, Parsons the last one I want to draft at 6.
Agreed.
The linebacker position doesn't have that value.
I just look at Devin White though, and I look what he's done, what his impact in Tampa, and I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name in Pittsburgh. Oh my goodness.
Well, T.J. Watt was what he was the latest first round pick.
They got the middle guy. Their middle guy's a puppy. Was a high pick too. I'm drawing a blank. If anybody knows, let me know. I think if it's a big time impact guy, like if Micah Parsons can be big time impact, then the value there at 6 is for sure, right? The fact that we haven't seen him play in a year, I would more ask Greg, who's what? No, Devin Bush is with Pittsburgh. Devontae,
David,
Devin White, right? Devin White,
Levante David or whatever his name is the stud for Tampa in the middle of their defense.
Devontae White or
I think they got 2 linebackers. Tampa does.
What am I doing right now? What am I doing? Drawing blanks on names.
So good.
Devin White. Forget. Now I forget. Now I gotta go look it up. Now
we all have those brain fart moments, especially when we go through all the craziness that we have to go through every week.
Greg tried to make the joke, and I think he should be banned from all comments after he said his Tom Brady boner is at full erection. But anyway, he came on and said that, have you seen our linebackers? Bud Dupree, that's another good name, Joseph.
Well, I mean, Greg
here's the thing with that one. Like, where I'm saying it.
No, you tell us, Greg. Tell us about Michael Parsons. Sorry, Steve. Greg, tell us. Like, I don't watch enough of him.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Greg say multiple times on different shows and stuff that, like, the guy is what you're talking about, Tom, like an impact player of that kind. But I don't like using I feel like the argument I hear from people too much is, well, our linebackers stink. Well, that's not a reason for me to reach on a guy and take a guy at 6 when really I feel like he's maybe a 10 to 15 area type guy. You know, like.
Well, we're not sitting there saying draft early for need. We're not saying draft early for need. We're just. I'm with Tom. Like whatever the need is, plus whoever's the best player on the board. Let's find the common ground between the two.
Like, I don't think there's anybody that can sell me. I don't care how much Greg likes Parsons. He couldn't sell me on taking Parsons over Siriann, over Chase, and over Smith. Like, he just couldn't sell me on it. He could try, I guess, but like it just I don't really think there's a way you could sell me on the idea of taking.
There's no way we'd be able to get those pickbacks, but I agree with you.
Should Greg get to the white side? What did he say?
I mean, he would trade our second white side and regular to get the picks back, but we would never get the same picks back. but you know,
maybe you take both of them and get a first back. You know, that's about the best you're going to do probably out of that. Or you let them both play and see if they can figure it out. Darius Leonard's a good comp. I mean, that's impact.
Okay, you know, okay. So, I mean, where was Darius Leonard taken?
You win in the middle, though. You need somebody. I'm not saying you reach on them. Maybe you trade out of that pick. If none of them,
I'm with Sonny. I like Alex. He's a dog, but he's not a guy that's gonna make a difference on your defense at linebacker.
I think Singleton's more of a result of everything else around him. Like, he's the shiniest turd in the dog shit pile. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and I hate to even say it like that. Like, it's fucked up. But really, like when you got it, like nothing but other shit around you. Like, of course, like. You know, you
gotta remember. I mean, the guy's gritty. He's tough. He's made it here from the CFL. Like, listen, he's one of these guys who's gonna play ball to the walls on every single snap, and you see it on the field.
Yeah, that's
solid player, but like I'm not over here like getting all like he's not like I'm not thinking like he's.
Oh no, I'm not going to go buy out Singleton jerseys.
You know what I mean? Like he can go play that hard on special teams. It'd be a great spot for him.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like that's great. He's got a roster spot. He's a good depth piece to have. That's what I see. But like he on any team with a good linebacking core, he's not. You know, he's not anything more than just an extra linebacker and a guy that rotates in and out and makes plays for you when you ask him to. But yeah, he's had a good year. I'm happy for the kid. You know, you're right. Yeah, it's a good transition. Hard to come from the CFL and make that all work. He's done it successfully, but. That's like he's not like I'm not taking a linebacker with like a top pick just because he's on the roster either. Like now, I'm going to be fair about it too. Like if you're saying, oh, well, we can't take Michael Parsons because I like Alex Singleton, you're like, give me what you're smoking. Like no, like there's nowhere close to this like the level of player. Like give me Michael Parsons and let Alex Singleton be a great complementary piece.
And Don thinks Surtain is gives him lots of reminiscence of Jalen Ramsey.
I don't think that's a bad comp. Ramsey is, I think, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more explosive. But I think they both got similar swag. They both play with that similar chip on their shoulder. They take pride in shutting down.
I'm popping. There he goes. What's up, brother?
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Greg, you're such a fraud. Hold on 1 second. I got to throw the pick with Greg. How long have you been down here in Florida? Like an hour away from me. I even hit your ass up the messenger. Let's hang out and watch football together.
You said you were coming to Orlando, and you never hit me up.
You never hit me. I'm just supposed to pick up the phone and hit you up every single time. I thought we were ATV family, bro. Come on, man. It's a two-way street.
Oh, snap.
What's going on? We watching the Super Bowl together?
We can.
All right, perfect. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
First off, though, Donna, I like that comp of Jalen Ramsey, but Ramsey's
more of a dog.
Ramsey might be more athletic than Surtain.
He is.
But yeah,
I think Ramsey's more of a dog too. I think Ramsey's more of like a an absolute bulldog out there 24/7, where Surtain can be that guy, but I just don't know if he's that guy every single snap. You know what I mean? But I think they do both play with a similar, chip on their shoulder where they want to shut down the other team's best receiver. Like they take pride. Like that's what motivates them. I'm gonna go out there and shut this guy down today.
You want to hear something? I got a good one for you guys. All right. Here it is. Watching Caleb Farley closely after watching Surtain, so far what I'm seeing is Surtain is better, far more consistent cornerback. Farley may be more freakier athlete when the ball's in the air, but very raw. I know he's a converted receiver, just saying what I see. He said no matter what film you cut on, you rarely see Surtain out of position. Never looks rushed. So far with Farley, it's the opposite. Plays more rush, but you see the upside with athleticism. So what sells
I agree 100%.
What sells me on a young guy is the key words were never seems rushed, right? Consistent, never out of what? Position. Like that's important. You know what I mean? That's important. That's confidence. But I want to hear Greg what he's got to say about Micah because that's linebacker you, babe. So I mean, it just hurts him not playing this year. Like it did Chase.
It hurts him not playing, and it also hurts us missing out on guys at 21. In this past draft when you had Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen both sit there, right? Because I do agree with Zach. It is tough to take a linebacker at 6, regardless of who that guy is, right? It is tough because especially with this organization, they don't value it. So how much of an impact can he make to make that pick make sense, especially with these other guys that are on the board? Micah Parsons is an absolute stud linebacker. He did hurt himself by not playing this year, but it does not mean he's not that good. He is in the mold or, in the same categories from Penn State of the LeVar Arringtons, the Dan Connors, you know what I mean? Those types of guys, the Puzlesny. Now, Puzlesny didn't have that great of a career in the NFL, but he was great at Penn State, right? Micah Parsons is a stud, but I do tend to agree with Zach at 6. Are you reaching there? Now, if everybody else is off the board, then that means somebody else is also there available too, which is probably a better need at 6, right?
You think it's
if Chase Smith, I do a little bit, but I still would take him just because of the position. I do agree with the positional value at 6, right? If Chase, Surtain, or Smith are on the board, they're gonna probably provide you a better impact than Micah Parsons right away. But we do need a linebacker because we keep missing. So that's why this guy is not even just this guy, but that's why it's talked about because we miss so much of the last few drafts.
So true.
So you then at times might have to reach a step. You know what I mean? It's sad if they trade back to 9. Just for saying, if they trade back to 9,
more reaching.
you take that, right? You know what I mean? But you're right. 6. What do you do with 6?
Like I said, the wide receiver's not there. Like I said, the wide receiver's not that you want is not there. You don't feel comfortable taking the linebacker or Surtain isn't there. Go on the edge rusher. Like I said, get ready to replace Brandon Graham or Fletcher Cox or whatever you're going to do over the next 2 to 3 years.
You got
but you got to re-sign them for the cap. They're going to be here, whether they're playing or not. They're going to be here.
Like you don't have to trade back for that because the best the end in the draft is not to me. I don't have them until like 10, and that's a kid from Miami.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you
didn't play,
yeah, it's like a heat drop because he didn't play either. Like I'm
right.
Like I would take Chase even though he didn't play, but the other two make me nervous. Like those guys because they didn't play, and I don't know how great they were when they were playing. Like Jamar Chase showed you how great he was. Like you're like, okay, I can't run from this one.
Now the other side of this that none of us are really talking about is what if they go offensive lineman?
Outside of Sewell, there's nobody there. I mean, if Sewell drops to 6, I might jump on it just because I think that's a phenomenal value at 6 when a guy that I thought was going to be a top 2 pick. But outside of Sewell, there's nobody. There's no
one worth it outside of that.
Oh,
and that's the other. That was what I was alluding to. If all those guys, Smith, Chase, and Surtain, are gone by 6, then that means every team passed on Sewell. right? Because you probably had 2 or 3 quarterbacks go. They all went with those skill positions, and that means Parsons and Sewell is sitting there. And Eagles money tells you they're going to go offensive linemen.
Well, I would take.
Probably should.
I would.
And I would too.
Because listen, I do like. We're going to find out if Diller can play. He's young, Steve. You know what I mean? So we're going to find out if Diller can play. Our line's not like that old. I still believe that if you can get a healthy Brooks and a healthy Lane, that this offensive line's really good next year, and that's a huge part of doing what? Keeping the big boy up. You know, with his big boy pants on, maybe he can stay up in the pocket.
But after 14 of 16 games, we had a different offensive line combination of 14 to 16 games. I mean, almost like there's no such thing as too much offensive line depth in my position, you know, in my opinion at this point, right? Like, you give me as many of them as possible. I don't care. I mean, we just saw how valuable it is to have as many of them as you possibly can that can play at a high level this year. So if Sewell's there, for me, that's the guy. If he falls to 6, you're like, oh, this is a gift from the football gods. You know, you better take it.
Yes, that's Sonny Weaver question. Can we live with his mistake? Can we live with his wrong, right?
That's why you wanted to come on here.
From draft day. When the draft day.
Yeah, we know why you wanted in on this show. Drop your Sonny Weaver.
All right, boys. Have a great one.
Go take a dunk for us.
What's that?
Go take a dunk for us.
Yeah.
Look in that tub.
Oh, damn.
See you, boys.
Later, brother.
See you, brother. Have a good one.
Dude, I might just go stay at Greg's house when I go to Miami. Holy shit.
But
going to Miami in like a month or so, I'm going to have to talk to Greg about this. Got a place to stay now. I'll sleep on his back porch. I don't care.
Boys, thanks for having me. I got to run too, but I just want to talk some Eagles with you. It's always fun.
No, fun stuff, Tommy.
Oh man, here we go. Ted's hitting on the nerves. Davion Taylor gonna be a spot starter here. Oh man,
jeez,
who the hell knows? I don't even. I mean, wait, like we literally have no idea what that kid could be a fucking star in the future. He could be fucking nothing. That's literally was a waste of a 3rd-round pick. I mean, the dude played like 3 games. You were like, oh, like I heard his name called like twice in a TV broadcast, and the next thing you know, he was on the IR. Holy shit.
That's rough, man. I don't know if it was just the year that 2021 was or what.
I did see him flying all over the field one of the games on tape. When you went back and watched the tape, he was flying all over the field. But he wasn't making tackles. He wasn't doing nothing. Like, he's just flying all over the field, hitting nobody. You were like, what's the point of you flying all over the field sideline to sideline if you're not going to hit a single soul? It's football, baby. Like, you got to go hit somebody.
The Lions and 49ers in talks for Matthew Stafford. You think the 49ers are out on Garoppolo, or you think they just going to cut him and then redo that contract?
Well, they one way or another they're out of the contract because they have a side door out clause. So they're going to get out of the contract, and then if say they can't come up with a trade for anybody better, yeah, I think they'll absolutely negotiate a new contract with him. It'll be for less money than what he was currently making. But yeah, that's why they negotiated that contract with Garoppolo the way they did. So that they could get out of it now. And to be honest, if you're San Francisco, I mean, Garoppolo's been hurt a ton for them. And then he played like dog shit in the Super Bowl.
Bryce, I would only do that if we missed out on our guy at 6. If we don't get who we want out of the 2 or 3 guys that we're looking at, then I would trade back.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Who's a better quarterback, Steven? Like, who's a better quarterback?
I mean, that's not even a question. Matthew Stafford is.
Yeah, so,
if Matthew Stafford was anywhere but Detroit over the last 10 years or so, he would have at least multiple rings.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I know he'd been in a lot better position and won a lot more football games and made a lot more playoff appearances. But
let me stand corrected. He would be more of a Hall of Fame quality looker around the league.
Sure,
because he's in Detroit, no one thinks he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I have problems with that, especially if Megatron was a first ballot Hall of Famer and he was his quarterback.
Well, and that's you can go to a place like San Francisco, play another 5 years, win a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden rewrite the entire story of your career. Kurt Warner looked like an absolute flakeout after leaving St. Louis, right? And you're like, what the hell happened to this guy? This guy was the MVP 5 years ago. Now he's Eli Manning's backup, and next thing you know, he gets in the right position with the right situation, and he's lights out again. And he built the second half of his Hall of Fame career in Arizona, right? And it was like, if he doesn't have that second half in Arizona, he's not a Hall of Famer, right? Like, but he wrote the second half of the Hall of Fame career in Arizona, and Stafford could do something like that. You know, I mean, like a little bit lesser extent because Warner obviously had won a Super Bowl before that. But
where do you? If he doesn't go to San Francisco, do you think?
Oh my God, Joseph! Oh my God, that's a terrible take. That is one of the worst sports takes I've ever seen in the history of my life as a sports. Nothing. They're not even close to the same player. Stafford has a much better arm. He can throw into much tighter windows. He's a much better athlete. He's much better inside the pocket, getting away from pressure and extended plays.
Don brings up. I'm going to get you off it right here. And Don brings up a point. Where do you think Deshaun Watson wins up? There's rumors of Miami. There's the Jets.
Miami. Because Miami's out on Tua. I'll tell you that right now, based on what I hear a lot from the media down here in Florida. Obviously, you know, I see a lot of that every day. I've got to really search for the Philly stuff. The Florida stuff smacks me in the face just because I'm down here. I'm telling you, the reports that y'all heard nationally from ESPN about the Miami players, a couple Miami players that said they questioned whether Tua, you know, was going to be, you know, whether he could ever be the franchise quarterback and whether he's ever going to be a good enough guy to, you know, to be a guy that you could say, yeah, he's the future of the franchise. But that's not just smoke and mirrors. I mean, everybody that I've seen to talk to down here from any type of like media perspective that you would be like, yeah, you would at least know better than me what's going on with that situation. There's like, I'd say it's 80-20 as far as the percentage of people that I've talked to that I feel like I'll at least trust what this person says about it. I think if Miami has the opportunity, they're trading Tua in a deal to Houston to bring Deshaun Watson in there. And they're willing to give up a couple first-round picks to do it, too. Like, they'll give up Tua and 2 first-round picks to bring in Deshaun Watson. I'm telling you, they will. I think at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson's not going to play in Houston, and he's going to end up, you know, obviously in a place that has the resources to trade for him. The Jets aren't in the position to do that the way Miami is. Like, Miami's literally a quarterback away. So I think it makes sense from the things that you're hearing nationally, plus the things you're hearing with local media.
Well, no, I mean, you look at it. You look at what
they could trade Tua and the third overall pick.
But here's the thing:
the third overall pick to Houston
no one's talking about this. Why is no one talking about New England? Because we know they need a quarterback, and there's all these quarterbacks being.
You really think he wants to go to New England?
No, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone actually wants to go to a place like.
No,
New
he's not
England,
going to go somewhere. He doesn't like. That's the whole thing. That's going to be part of this. Like they're not just going to trade him anywhere. Like he's got a say in all this.
No, but I actually think that's probably where you see a place like Stafford going. Moreover than what you see anywhere else. I agree with the fact that Miami might be at them too, and that could be a possibility. I don't know if they have to give up that much capital to get it done though, because at this point the Texans have no bargaining chips with this. They have nothing.
Well, sure they do, because they don't have to trade them.
Well, yeah, and then they can just eat the contract. He sit on the bench. He said he's done. Sure. They're not going to do that.
Okay, but they don't have to trade him either. Like, you know who has the leverage here is Deshaun Watson. He's the one that wants to go somewhere. He's the one that's the franchise-changing player, and he's the one that Miami looks at and goes, oh, wow, we bring him in here. All of a sudden, that's the missing piece. We're a Super Bowl champion contender. So I don't think, it's less than negotiating with Houston and more than negotiating with Deshaun Watson and his agent about what exactly is it going to take. Like, we don't care what it takes. We know he wants to be here, so therefore we've got to give up whatever it is to make sure he's here. If they give up Tua, the third overall pick, and next year's first-round pick, think about it. That seems like a lot on paper, but it's really not. When you think about it,
I don't think they get two. I think it goes like this way: you can get 2 and a 1.
Well, the 2 are 18 and 33. I don't think they wouldn't take it. I just don't like. There's not enough value there in 18. It's like, why would they want to take the 18th and the 33rd pick? Like why would they do that? It just doesn't make sense for Houston to do that. I really don't think they're just going to go, yeah, here you go, take Deshaun Watson from us. But somebody's going to have enough resources, and then also enough of I don't give a fuck about losing. Like somebody has to have enough assets along with not giving a fuck about losing those assets. You see what I'm saying? To make this deal happen. The Jets aren't in a position to not give a fuck about giving up those assets. Like the Jets have to be like, damn, that's a lot to give up for Deshaun Watson when we suck so much ass. Whereas the Dolphins can be like, Yeah, take Tua, take the 3rd overall pick, and we'll give you next year's first round pick, which is going to end up being the 28th overall pick in the draft anyway, because we're going to make a deep playoff run. So if you've got Tua, the 3rd overall pick this year, next
I
year's
wouldn't say a deep playoff run, but I'll definitely say Miami's a playoff team next year, without a doubt.
If they get Deshaun Watson, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Bryce, you're not wrong. This offseason is going to be wild for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. Not just the quarterback carousel that's going to go on. I think we're in for a wild offseason. Just with the fact of what we're having to do, retooling the coaching staff, everything like that, you're going to see, I think, a lot of things are going to happen. And I know you guys think that BG and Cox are going to be here. I don't. Cox will, but I think Brandon Graham will probably be gone within 2 years.
I think Cox is gone as soon as they get a chance.
And we just Broda just gave us a little breaking news here too.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of what was. It seemed like all the dots were connecting to that. Bring in somebody you're comfortable with, and that Colts defense. I mean, they've got some young players.
I don't think it's 50-50, Bryce. I really don't. I think it's 100% from now until this coach is gone.
Brock Osweiler, they had a way out of that contract. Remember, it wasn't 4 years and all that. Like there was a way out of that because Cleveland cut him right after they made the trade.
Absolutely, Don. I think that's why they brought in Haskins. That's why he's there. He's going to be the de facto guy moving in next season. They'll probably draft or they'll probably draft somebody or see who else they can go grab. But yeah, I think he's
Garoppolo might be,
that could be a place you could see Jimmy wind up going.
I think if anything, the person that ends up in New England is Garoppolo. I think he ends up going back to New England in a system where he's really comfortable. Josh McDaniels
all right, now Bryce is coming back now. Ertz will be gone. Where do you think Zach Ertz will land? Because obviously he's going to have somebody
whoever gives up the most.
Or do you think that's a draft day trade that gets us to move up, like in the
we're going to get an extra pick,
like an additional second or something like that?
Yeah, something, a 3rd round pick, something.
I wouldn't. A third, I wouldn't. He's a second. I'm sorry,
but there's no. See, now you're nitpicking. Literally, there's no reason for him to be on your roster next year. If you're giving me a 7th round pick, okay, I'm not doing it. But I'll give you a 2nd. Okay, fuck it. Give me a 3rd, and let's be all fucking happy and move the fuck on. That's what I was talking about with all these contracts. We can't sit here and try to say, well, I'm trading Fletcher Cox, but only if I get this in return. Either we're moving on from these hideous, awful fucking contracts that are handcuffing us, or you're not. We can't sit here and play the, well, I need more in return game. It is what the fuck it is. We all know you're going to get fucking raped. That's the way these trades work when you sign shitty contracts.
See, what I'm thinking is more where Bryce is going, where you get a guy like the Colts or the Ravens who have a back end 2nd round pick where it's technically a 3rd anyways.
Why would the Ravens trade for him? They have 2 good tight ends. The Colts, I mean, maybe, but I mean, if the Colts could give up a 3rd round, if you called the Colts and say, hey, give us the 50th pick in the draft, that's the 20th pick in the 2nd round or whatever. We want that pick for Zach Ertz. They're going, how about the 60th, or how about the 70th pick, or how about the 80th? They're going to go, oh well, if you can do the 50th.
I agree. I think we do need to stay. We do need to stay a 4-3. We do need to stay a 4-3 defense. I'm not.
Yeah, we don't have guys that can run a 3-4, so obviously you got to stay in a 4-3. You can't just come in and change it to a 3-4 with 4-3 personnel. That's not the way it works. Brandon Graham. If you run a 3-4, Brandon Graham all of a sudden is playing outside linebacker, and Brandon Graham can't play outside linebacker, so you're not running a fucking 3-4.
We already tried to have him do that, and he's better with his hand in the dirt. Sorry, people.
Would the Texans even want to? Yes. That was the whole point. Have you not been paying attention, Ted? Have you not been following all of the shit that's been going on? Why would they not want Tua? I mean, not that they think Tua is going to be a friend, but the point is now they get.
No,
he's
still a beast. And I
have
no. Ted, let me clear this up. I have no disdain for Fletcher Cox. I don't think he should be traded. I think he's one of those secret names that they're secretly shopping around.
What the fuck is a box of you sandwiches? Hold on, Ted. A box of you sandwiches. If you're gonna make a fucking analogy,
no man. If I'm trading Fletcher Cox, I want this year's first, and it's got to be a top 5. And I probably want one of your future ones, if not next year, the following year.
Yeah, but to make a good analogy,
get out of here.
I'm not trading them for like a bag of footballs. These are a box of used sandwiches. First of all, sandwiches don't go in a box. That's one. Okay, so like you're coming in here with your fucking stupid analogies, and you're pissing me off, Ted.
Now that there's a place where I think that would make sense, because then going to get a guy like Ertz, they don't really have. Cincinnati doesn't really have to go get that big sexy weapon in the first round, and they can go get the lineman.
What we're also, as Eagles fans, not maybe paying enough attention to is how much we maybe overvalue Ertz compared to everybody else in the league. Like, we love Ertz here, and at one point, Ertz was a top tight end in football. Whether he's still a top tight end in football or not is debatable after being hurt a lot this year and being banged up and not playing yada, yada, yada. Of course, that conversation will come up. But,
oh, Ted, don't get him started, please.
Ted, I'm probably older than you, so why don't you pipe down over there? Anywho,
Sonny's with you.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
We might overvalue him.
I need a first-round pick for Zach. Well, maybe other teams are looking at the guy and saying, like, he gets no yak. He's not a guy that breaks tackles, extends plays. There's no yards after catch, and maybe those are things a lot of these other teams value in their tight ends. And they're going, hey, he's just not a guy that I look at and say, hey, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, yes. Now, no, he's not that guy anymore. This idea that we're going to get a first-round pick or even a second, like, you might just have to settle for what the hell you're going to get. And you've got two choices: either continue to pay him the absurd amount of money for no fucking reason, or just move on and get whatever asset you can get for him. And sometimes in the world of professional sports, that's just what you have to do.
Now, it's one of these things, man. Like, I think, like, Zach's a great guy. He's done what he's had to do for the city. He's going to be immortalized in the city for multiple reasons. I mean, people tend to forget when Brent Selleck left. What did Brent's wife do? Remember Wingfest when she's walking around with Zach?
All I know
his entrance into the city was just something. And then he started really developing. He had big shoes to fill when Brent Selleck left. Let's be honest, really big shoes to fill, and he filled them. And I think that's probably why he's loved the way he's loved here, because Brent Selleck was one of them guys, right?
Yeah,
but he wasn't the offensive guy that Zach was, and I think that's probably another reason.
You want a cool Brent Selleck story, real quick?
Oh man, here we go.
So a buddy of mine actually used to have some association with A2D. So he doesn't work for us anymore, and it's not who you're probably thinking of. This is a long time ago. It wasn't a guy that has the initials of a K and an M. That wasn't him. But no, somebody that used to do a show with me and Ralph. So that'll tell old school listeners who it was. We heard a firsthand story from him about, and he used to date Ryan Matthews' mom. So how about that? You want to know about somebody that's in the know with some shit? This dude used to show up to the studio with Ryan Matthews' mom on his shoulder because he was dating Ryan Matthews' mother. And that's a true story, 100%, not bullshitting you. He used to show up and do shows at the A2D studio with Ryan Matthews' mom, next to him on his hip. So. Apparently Brent Selleck had this reputation around Philly. He would show up to public events, all types of fundraisers and different things like that. But he was a total pothead. And apparently he was always known for everywhere he went, he'd sneak out from the event to be able to go smoke a blunt somewhere. And he'd just be smoking blunts with random Eagles fans, random people. Like, it was just something like, yeah, you can smoke the blunt. I mean, like, he literally had no give. I'm like, this dude seems like the coolest, most down-to-earth, one of the most chill dudes, like, as far as professional athletes go, that you could ever come across. And I've heard stories from people that have literally been, standing out in the parking lot smoking blunts with the guy as he's passing it in a circle with a couple other people. Like, that's how cool that dude is. Brent Selleck he's a stone cold, cool ass dude, like one of the most genuine dudes you can.
Absolutely, Ohio guy. Hey, he's a legend here.
And we can tell that story now that he's not playing in the NFL anymore because he doesn't have to worry about the NFL
Yeah, so he doesn't.
betting or anything like that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think Cincinnati would be a bad landing spot for Zach, as it was mentioned. I mean, anywhere else you really see him ending up? Do you see him in a place
anywhere with a tight end opening? Like, but that's what
I mean, I can see him wind up going to a place like New England too.
But that's the thing. We've got to be open minded. This idea of, well, I need to get anybody that needs a tight end might call you and say, hey, what's the asking price for Zach Ertz? And you listen. Well, we want this, but we're open to listen. Well, we'll give you a 3rd round pick for him. Okay, deal. Or if they say we'll give you a 3rd round pick, you obviously try to negotiate a little bit. And okay, well, if you can give me a 3rd, you can give me a 2nd, right? And you play a little bit of hardball. But whatever.
So we're here. I say New England. The fam is sitting there chiming in. They're saying Miami. Sonny says Cards, Panthers.
A team like Miami.
I don't know about the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals really do. They really need a tight end like that?
It needs to be somebody that has the cap space to go inside. Because you're right. That's what he's going to want to demand, and that's what I'm talking about.
We got Christina's already in the back, my friend.
Where he feels.
Zach.
Yes.
Christina's in the back. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. I thought you asked me the question. I was in the middle of answering.
I was trying to slow you down for a second.
Right?
So, our first guest is in the back. I'm going to be bringing her on here in a second. Been a good friend of Christine for quite some time. Lion fight days, early Invicta days, and we're going to be bringing her on here. So, guys, let's give some love to Christina, the Misfit Feria. Christine, how we doing, my friend?
What up, G? How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How you been?
Good. Just recovering from my injury and trying to stay in shape and not get fat.
Yeah, that's probably even more rough considering everything we're all going through in the world right now. A lot of things
closed.
My
God, yeah.
I was just talking to a friend of mine
about being fat.
We were just talking about it last night with Rachel on her show. Like with everything being closed in, like being a fighter, like the fitness thing, people really don't get to eat properly and stuff like that. How hard is it to get everything with everything kind of being closed in, as being kind of being restricted? The nutrition element is kind of being not being discussed here, at least in the fighters world, at least in my opinion.
Well, I made a whole gym in my house. There's you can see this is I have a sauna. That's one of my saunas. Like it's sauna down there. So I bought a sauna right there. So I bought a sauna. I bought a punching bag. You know what I'm saying? I bought. Buying food it was okay. I just eat like boring ass food, dude, all the time. It sucks. I dread eating every day, 5 times a day. Dude, it sucks. But just running outside at the time, all the gyms are open here now. So I mean they've been open for a while. I think they were only closed down for like about 2 months. So Vegas is pretty proactive in keeping everything open.
You got lucky there. Like I had my son was actually going to a gym that was like not even 5 miles from here, and they're done. The signs are already taken off the outside of the building. They were only open for less than 2 years. I'm like,
oh man.
I mean, it sucks.
Everybody's affected. People are this guy. I have people hitting me up all the time. How do I get into bare knuckle? I haven't fought and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, we're all in the same boat. You're not the only one. So that's where I get comforted. Is like. It's not like people are moving past me because I'm the only one stagnant. We're all stagnant, so it's like we're all dealing with this shit, and we just got to, just stay focused and keep a strong mind. I've been working on my mental game, patience and all that, so it's going to bring it into the ring with me.
Yeah, I mean it's one of these things like you say it's hard for all you guys. Yeah, I sit there, you see fighters who are under contract from bare knuckle boxing. Like, hey, I don't know what's going on with this next fight, but hey, I might even hop back into MMA for right now just to keep myself busy. That's a real thing that's going on because people don't understand. Like it's not easy to not only get the fights but keep the fights happening.
Yeah, I mean bare knuckle's been doing a good job. I mean putting on fights, so. I don't know. I mean, they're not as often, and they planned on having one every single month, and that was going to be great because I was going to stay active, and it was going to, grow the company more and faster, and dude, everything just stopped. So
Shit hit the fan.
I mean, oh my God, I hate COVID, dude. I'm just like, I hate this thing, this pandemic.
I mean,
dude.
I know it was messing with you for a while because I looked at your social media a few weeks ago. You're sitting there saying you're walking away from everything. What's going on?
Yeah. So I was throwing a little fit. So on New Year's Eve, I watched a video from David Feldman talking about Beck Rawlings being the queen of bare knuckle. I was like, who the fuck is Beck Rawlings? Like, first of all, she just lost her last MMA fight. She's not even in bare knuckle. She walked away from bare knuckle. I was like, I've been here since day 2 with you guys. Like, why?
Yeah, the fight with you and Helen is probably the thing that kind of really launched bare knuckle boxing into the popularity it has now. At least in my opinion, it's not nothing away from any other athletes that has. Just if you look at as what happened in the past few years, your fight with that was the fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight. I like when a girl can take the damage and keep coming, and it makes a great fight. And I was supposed to have that rematch with her, and we almost we were there, showed up for the fight. They canceled the fight the day we showed up, so in Kansas because of COVID. And I was going to murk this girl, like destroy her. It wouldn't have been that close again. I just, but and then we were gonna rematch again, and she pulled out 4 weeks out from the fight that we were gonna fight.
Didn't she? Now she's going over to MMA now. I know she was doing a lot more toward going towards that end.
I don't know what she's doing. I don't follow her because I want to cuss her out every time I talk to her. So I blocked her on everything because you know what? I'm like, dude, because I'm gonna troll this girl for life, and if I don't want to waste my time with somebody that isn't going to fight me, and I just run my mouth. I'm just not going to stop because you pull out of we were going to be the main event on this card. I'm like, you don't understand. She's young in the game. She's only been in the game so long. She thinks things should be handed to her.
You've been through all that. People who don't know, Christina's been through the ringer when it comes to that. From lion fights, from Muay Thai fights, from MMA fights. Because of stuff like that, that's why she went to bare knuckle boxing. People don't know who haven't followed her story long enough. That's why she's here, is because she was sick of people running. She wanted real fighters who wanted to throw their hands. This is how she went out with bare knuckle boxing and had the beautiful fight with her and Helen. And everyone wants to see it again. Obviously, she's got very, very strong opinions for this because she wants that ass, as she's.
Yeah, I did. And if she comes back, I'm like, hey, because I heard that she may have came back. I'm like, hey, she has to go through me first because first of all, I don't even think she won that fight. I feel like it was I was the champ. She didn't win decisively. It was a close fight. I don't deny that, but we both knocked each other down. We both beat the hell out of each other. She didn't take my belt, so I wanted to. Okay, if she beat me the second time, okay, I'm gonna say okay, she beat me.
You got it. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. Like, all right, I was the champ. Y'all gave her a decision. She didn't stop me.
No,
we need to run that back.
And she couldn't even see out of one eye. Like she had more damage. So I don't know. Like,
and speaking of which, we got a question from one of the fans in the chat. Clarissa Shields is kind of dipping her toes in the MMA, being the former Olympic, world champion boxer, everything like that. Mm. What are your thoughts on some of the things she said and how you think she'll do?
What weight class is she going to?
I'm not sure the weight class. She signed with PFL, so it's either 35 or 45. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the competition. See, I don't know the 145 division. I know Clarissa is extremely confident.
Yes, that is to say the least. I've seen some of the things she said, and I know how some of the people in the MMA world think, and I wanted to get some of your opinions on that.
It's two very different worlds.
Yeah.
When I went from Muay Thai to MMA, it was a big change. Then I went MMA to boxing. It's just they're different stances, different angles. She's used to straight punches coming real nice, great technique with great fight IQ, good footwork. I feel like MMA is just it hasn't caught up in that way, but she's not going to be ready for the awkwardness.
I mean, I think
Unless
the only thing I would say that she has the advantage is the gym she went to, and that she has Holly home there, and Holly's kind of already went through that transition. So maybe having that person in her ear will kind of make that transition a little bit quicker for her. I get she's a quick learner, but the her in there saying that she could get her black belt in 2 years was kind of I had to step back. I'm like, wait a minute.
That you will be exposed. Get your black belt in 2 years. You will be exposed. Period. A wrestler's going to come in there and mop you up, and then a real jiu-jitsu person is going to come in there and mop.
Now, all that put aside, I mean, obviously she's got a lot to learn, but I do think for overall, it's another thing that it's good for women's combat sports to have somebody like Clarissa to kind of.
Absolutely, I think that's great, and they're going to build her. You know how they do. You know the fight game.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they're not going to.
You've already been down that road. You know how it is.
They're going to make it okay for her. She's going to be fine.
And speaking of a building and kind of being held with kid gloves, obviously Sonny has another one. Paige Van Zandt's debuts coming up here January. She's going against Britain Hart. At least it wasn't.
I'm surprised.
I was actually surprised by that one. So I thought they were going to pick a candy cane
like
for
Jenny
her.
Savage. I think Jenny Savage would have been a better option for her. For Paige. So I don't want Britain Hart. I like Britain Hart, huh?
Yeah.
And her real name, Jenny Savage?
Yes.
That's
phenomenal for a fighter. That's a phenomenal name.
So this is like a 50-50.
Yeah, I like Britain. I think she has a nice style, and I think a lot of people are just going to assume Paige is going to run through. And I was like, listen, I've watched her fight. Britain's no pushover, and I agree with you. I thought that Jenny might have been the easier fight to kind of make for them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just because Jenny's greener, and you know what I mean. She's like MMA girl. So she's greener, and she's like, I think she focuses more on the ground. So she still has more development in her stand-up game. Now, Britain has been faded by the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know her boxing, like I forgot the girl that she fought, but amazing boxer. And Britain just doesn't stop. Like, she's a tough, gritty.
And I think that's probably why they made it, because if you really think, it kind of reminds you of like a lot of Paige's MMA fights, where she's outclassed, but she's just so tough that you can't get her out of there.
But Paige is going to be in for a rude awakening when she gets hit. But the thing is, what is kind of, Britain isn't strong. She doesn't hit hard. So, but she cuts you. I think, or the last girl, but the last girl was like horrible. Like, no offense, I don't want to be rude, but she was not ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's super green. So she looked good last fight, but when you see it's so hard. Like, I play with it. I look at Paige's fight, and I never really watched Paige's fight before, but I wanted to see like kind of like what was going to happen in the fight. And
well, see, I watched her fight.
Footwork.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, she knows how to cut angles and kind of get herself in position. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's going to be like this. I'm with it. Like, it's 50-50. And I remember her, like, I guess like one of her earlier fights against Felice Herring, where she was able to kind of control that fight too, but on all aspects. So it's one of those things where, as much as I like, some people don't really care for how the whole relationship with BKB and Paige came about, and she's getting the top billing and all that right off in her debut.
Well,
some people
should. Okay,
she built her brand to be able to do that. You know what I mean?
She earned that. So I don't hate on her for that. I just don't like the promotion. And on like someone like me coming in, and I'm doing my job every fight I have finished it, except the one, and
I think what you're thinking.
That's
I think the thing you get upset about is more like yeah, they do their thing and they have their niche, but I've been here too. I've been doing my grind and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And
absolutely,
yeah, I get it. She's gonna be the star, but I should get the same amount of fighting respect, regardless if I get the promotional dollar respect or not. You know what I mean?
have the respect. I just don't have the promotion. Like I have my respect. I just don't get the promoting that I want. But back to Paige and Britain, I think like for them the footwork that Britain, she's not going to be ready for Paige's footwork. She's not going to be ready for that because I feel like Paige is not that great, and so she knows how to survive, like get out of there type deal. You know what I mean? And Britain she's tentative. She's not like confident in her strikes. She's like super dominating. So I don't know. I think if Paige starts to like land some stuff, it's gonna put Britain on her heels, and she's not gonna be like trying to get it. She's like almost like a counter fighter, almost. Like she kind of like needs to know that she can do something. She doesn't take chances. She won't take a chance. Like she won't. And I feel like Paige she's been under so much pressure in her careers, like, Dancing with the Stars and in UFC and the crowds and, dealing with big names and Dana White and all that scene. Like, I feel like it was going to take a little bit from Britain, it being such a big fight, and Paige is comfortable with that. So there's so many factors and so many.
I think no matter what, I mean, we haven't
seen Paige.
Yeah,
we haven't seen her fight, so it's like I don't know. Like, we haven't seen her.
The questionable variables, like we don't know how she's going to act, because this is a totally different sport for her. This is first time for doing a lot of it. So. And
feeling those knuckles on your face and being scared.
And I gotta ask, there's a lot of other fun matchups on that one. Former guest Chris Lieben's gonna be on that card. Yeah. His fight with Quentin Henry. I gotta ask you, what are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, it's his last fight. I hope he wins, but I don't. No offense, I don't think he's gonna pull this one off. But
I love Chris to death, and I'm with you on this. I think a lot of people are underestimating what Henry can do, and
oh my God.
I don't know if he puts Chris away, but I think this is going to be a fan favorite for years to come.
But yeah, Lee, he's so strong, and he hits so hard. But if Quentin can take that power, I think I think Lieben's going to get a little slow and a little winded with the younger dude.
I think that's what it is. If he can drag Chris into some of those deeper borders and get him hurt, he might get him out of there, or at least get the decision. But we'll see how it comes when it all happens. Come February. Yeah. But we're getting some questions in here in the chat, and some people want to get your thoughts on tonight's fights. Connor's going to be getting back in there. Dustin. I mean, obviously, Michael Chandler's going against Dan Hooker in his UFC debut. And been keeping up on the big UFC card this weekend.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just interested in the Connor. I don't really watch too much MMA, but I watch specific people. So I love Connor for his mental and his drive and where he's come from and his energy and his focus when he's focused and when he's not.
And that's something I've been bringing up over the last few days. Like, where a lot of people kind of felt like over the last few fights, you kind of felt like he was losing some of that mental energy that he had. Like he was, and not just that you could just see it in his body and his body language that he wasn't feeling it, or like you could just tell by how he talked and everything, like something was off. And it looked like over these last few weeks on a lot of the media that I've seen, a lot of the videos I've seen, and and that's bad for Dustin, and it's sad because Dustin was on this trend now. He was getting back to getting him in a position
this is what he worked for. He worked for this fight. This is what he worked for because this is the money fight for him. This is the biggest fight of his life. You know, I know he fought him before, but Connor's at a whole different level than when he fought him before. You know what I mean? So it's different, but Connor's on point, and I think it's going to be almost an Aldo type deal.
Oh, you think it's going to be quick? I think Dustin's going to be able to kind of.
I don't think that quick.
I think he's going to be able to get him out of the first round. I think Dustin will be able to weather that. But the second round, all bets are off. I think he's going to get back to that store and be like, "Oh man, this is not what it was last time."
I don't think he's getting out of the first round. Nah.
Hey, Connor's done it before. It wouldn't surprise me.
He's so precise. His energy is so big.
But it's not just that. It's his fight IQ. People underestimate that part of it.
Right.
Like that part of it. He knows like how to play the game within your strengths and your weaknesses. So that's the other part like that makes Connor great. Not just what he does outside of it, not just the talking and the promotion. And he's so smart in there.
But his mental, his precision, his timing. When he's on, dude. No one can beat him, you know. So that's how I feel about that. The other fights on that card, I know there's a couple girl fights. I'm looking forward to I was just looking at who
was it. Joanna Calderwood and Jessica Eye are fighting on that one. And I think they got two of the younger up and comers are also going to be
the Reba
on
girl.
So.
I think that that's going to be one. That's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that one. And then I'm going to watch the Eye and the
Calderwood.
Calderwood. Yeah, that'll be a funny looking fight, but it's going to be, I think, okay. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like Jessica has kind of done herself no favors over the past handful of years, you know, social wise, whatever. And, you know, you love her, you hate her, indifferent, but it's really hard to hate Joanna Calderwood. She just has this.
I don't hate them. I just don't like their technique style.
Fighting style, right? It's a fighting style. Yeah. Like, there's nothing against them. It's like, listen, you guys just don't do it for me. You're great people, but you know. Your style just don't vibe with you know, my typical brand of violence.
Move your head. Move your damn head. Hit like move your hips when you punch, like, or twist your hips, like get those real punches in. Like it's just like I just want to see the technique in these damn girls. Because we don't get enough respect, dude. and
well, yeah. Then actually, I wanted to get your thought on this. Obviously over the last few days, you know, we're having a lot of things happen in the world, and it just came out that the president that is coming into office is now going to make school athletics basically acknowledge.
Oh, the trannies?
Yeah,
dude, bro. It's like, okay, if you
what is going to happen with the actual girls who are trying to go get scholarships and try to further their athletic careers? I'm not even getting into the political aspect of it. I'm not even getting into the awkward aspect. I want to get into the actual part of it where it affects the female athlete. Forget about the other nonsense.
If you got your sex changed, dude, you still got bone density of a dude. You know what I mean? You still got the jaw of a dude. Like, that's not taken away from you stopping your testosterone. You've already built that over the years. You know what I mean? So, like,
do you think there'll be, like, at some point, maybe the sport will develop into, like, they talk about this idea of building, like, trans bathrooms. So you have men's bathrooms, women's bathrooms, and then, like, a bathrooms.
They should do that.
Well, then they should do the same thing with the
people
sports.
That identify in that way.
And they should do the same thing with the sports where everything is separated in that way.
Because because it's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not. Dude, it's like we're having to relive the whole Fallon Fox thing all over again. We already went through this whole nonsense.
Yeah, and I know that she got knocked out by a girl, but still.
Yeah, I was talking to Rachel. I think it was last night. It was Brianna Brents or Boom Boom Brents. I think it was her name.
Yeah, but still, like, that's not common. Like, girls don't go around.
Like, listen, I'm not telling someone they shouldn't be who they feel they should be, but there's a difference when we're talking about professional athletics. There's a line.
Exactly.
If you still want to compete and be active, that's great. But when we're talking professional athletics, it's a totally different animal.
I don't like that at all. And I just think that it should be separated. And there's nothing against if you want to have sex change, do it later after your professional career. And so you can compete in where your sex is. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to do that, I don't give a shit. Go do that, but not want to fight a girl, dude. You're not a girl. Like, no, as much as you want to be, you're not. Like, you may feel that way inside. Your brain may tell you, I don't fucking know. But you're not. So it's even if like, oh, I want to be a dude. I'm still a girl. If I go in there, even if I put testosterone in me, that doesn't make me a dude.
Well,
Unfortunately,
X and Y chromosomes. I mean, they are what they are, right? You can't really change it. It's you identify one way.
it's just, I guess, a product
Yeah.
of the weird times that we live in, and it's just, I don't think
I
it's
know.
fair to
It
the
is
female
very weird.
athlete. I don't think it's fair to the female collegiate athlete who's trying to further her education and her
Right.
athletic career, and is going to have opportunities taken from them potentially
True.
from transgender athletes.
Yeah, and they will take it because they're going to be faster twitch, bigger rib cages because men have bigger rib cages, so you guys get more oxygen in your blood. I mean, in your muscles. So there's so much to it. That's why when I would race guys back before I knew all the scientific stuff, like I'm like, damn, dude, I can't beat him. Why? Like, he's just a guy, but they literally guys have bigger rib cages, like for you to expand. So there's just so much to it.
Yeah, man. But before we get ready to wrap everything up, Christine, I typically throw the microphone over you. Anyone you would like to thank, shoot out, your gym sponsors, training partners, anything like that. The time is yours, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just want to thank Mercy Jones for my sponsorship, and let's see, Never Tap, Bare Knuckle Boxing for putting me on. Thank you for having me on, my friends and family and all my fans, and I appreciate you guys having the patience with me in between fights and injuries and stuff. I'll be fighting again in about May or June. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
May or June. Any chance you're going to go down to Florida for the fight?
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'm
Awesome.
gonna go grab
My birthday's in
Paige.
June. That's what we got to do. We got it, Steven. We figured it out. I'm bringing my girlfriend. We're gonna watch you kick somebody's ass. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
He's right down the road down there in Florida.
Brittany.
So if he's not there, I'm gonna tell
go.
Christine to go find you to make sure.
I know.
you
Now I have to show up, right?
Location.
Steven's gonna send out my address.
Damn straight. You're gonna be there. We're gonna get you learned up real quick. Tell you how these. Listen, man.
Hey,
If you
as
haven't
long as I
been,
can be media credentialed, I'm gonna have my HUD
you don't
media
have to be.
credential.
Listen, man. Listen, we'll get that taken care of. Don't worry about that. I'm just saying, like, if you haven't ever gone to a live, combat sporting event, regardless if it's MMA, combat, MMA, we're talking about boxing, bare knuckle boxing, whatever. Tune in. January 5th, I think it is.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle boxing app. Make sure you guys tune in. It's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah.
And then you never know.
it's a
You
good
might
time.
see Christine jump in the cage, jump in that ring afterwards, and start calling
I'm
people
definitely
out.
jumping in that damn ring. I'm
All
like,
right.
you can't. You got to go through the queen here.
Well, I definitely hope you get something lined up real soon. Always appreciate your time.
Thank
Hopefully you get everything situated and you start busting these women's heads open. So we can see who the real queen of bare knuckle boxing is.
That's right. I will.
All right, Christine, you have a good one.
All right, bye guys.
All right, everyone. That was Christina the Misfit Feria. She is a character. Definitely one of my favorite athletes over the past 5 to 10 years. From, like I said, blind fight to Invicta to bare knuckle boxing. If you haven't checked her out, please do. And she isn't going to leave you disappointed. I guarantee you, this guy's over here Googling right now to say what is this guy talking about? That I told you that fight with her and Helen Peralta was amazing.
Well,
I still don't believe Helen got up from that punch that Christina dropped her with. I'm still in disbelief about that.
all I know is the Conor McGregor fight tonight. Conor's my guy. I've talked about
we're definitely gonna touch on it. Like, dude, we Christina jumped on a little bit early. We didn't even wind up getting a chance to go into the Flyers talk. But Conor McGregor, I'm still saying with the second round, I think he will get out of that first round, despite what Christina says.
I might have to go to Hooters there's a Hooters right across the street from my apartment. I might have to walk over there just because I know they'll have the fight. And Dana White's been warning people about, we're coming for you. Like if I fucking stream the fight illegally, I don't feel like dealing with Dana White's lawyers.
See, here's the problem. He's not coming for the guys who actually are viewing the fights. He's coming for the streamers. He ain't gonna do nothing to us.
No, but he's gonna shut them all down to the point where I can't fucking watch it. And then what the fuck's the point?
Well, there's the ones that have been doing it for years and years and years and years, and they haven't been able to stop them yet. So I wonder
if I can find it. I'll just watch it at home on my stream. But
But yeah, guys, if make sure you're tuning into UFC 257 tonight. That's going to be another fun one. This one should pretty much wrap this one up. You want to give any Flyers thoughts in the last minute or two here?
No.
You were glad Christina called in earlier, aren't you? You see that and put Flyers on there. It's like, what is Steven doing to me? What is Steven doing to me? I'm definitely looking forward to the matchup. Obviously, Flyers, Bruins, Philly, Boston is always going to be a rivalry. We're always going to talk about it, regardless of what Zachary thinks over here.
I live in Florida now. I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. Go Lightning. They play the Blue Jackets tonight.
This freaking guy, man. You're fired. Oh, man. Well, I guess I'm going to have to get into it within the last minute here. Who's the winner? What are we giving away? Are we giving the glove away? We're going to do both? What do you want to do? I think we should do the glove for this.
We got to give it to the dude that told me to pipe down and put my big boy pants on.
Are you going to give it to Ted?
I don't know.
You're going to diss Bryson Dondon because Bryson Dondon were the guys that were were here last week.
Oh yeah, that's right. The guy that called me and wasn't eligible. That's right. You fucking asshole. That's what you get for not listening last week.
Well, yeah, Ted was the one that was giving you the nice little ribbon there. Don. So what we're gonna do is it Bryce or Dondon? Which one are you gonna choose?
Well, Dondon's the Lions fan, so therefore he's got enough misery in his life. You feel bad for the guy. I guess it's him, right? Like he's.
Well, I mean, that like I said, I mean, I got it. You can make the pick here. Bryce or Dondon. They were the ones that were active today, and they were the ones that were active last week.
Well, now you make me into the asshole because whichever one I don't.
Wasn't make you the asshole? Weren't you already the asshole?
Yes, so yeah. Technically, when you look at it like that.
All right. Well, since he's staying on the fence, he doesn't want to be the asshole. I'll go and make the pick. Don. Make sure you message me. Facebook, whatever. Get me your mailing information, and I'm gonna send you this the signed glove from Vinny Panzianza. We'll do some more stuff leading up into the following weeks and months. Like I said, I got some more stuff laying around here. I gave Tommy some stuff to do for A2D as well. We got some more stuff that I'll be accumulating through the years to link up with you guys. We passed 4K subscriptions on YouTube. Actually, we were already like another 130 past that now. So keep it going. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go, Don. You got that, brother. Appreciate no, man. Listen, bro, you are on here on just about every show every damn week. There's no appreciation. The appreciation is ours for always tuning in. We don't do that. We don't do this like for what a lot of people do, the stuff on social media. We're doing it to give back to the people who support us on a daily basis, not the people who are just running around on social media trying to get prizes and stuff like that. I'm giving back to the people who give back to us and support us. So Don, the appreciation is ours, honestly. So reach out to me. Like I said, it doesn't matter which form of social media. Just get it to us. Even if you just message it to A2D and get it to me that way, that's fine. I'll take care of it for you, brother. Try to get it sent out to you by Monday. All right. But other than that, me and Zach will be back next week, and I believe that will be the year anniversary for me. I'll be in here a year. Look at that.
Wow.
I survived.
And a cake and everything.
No cake, man. I'm enough, man. I got enough sugar and freaking.
Good Lord!
Trying to get that weight down.
I just put on my 600-pound life. This show is like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before Zach gets completely off the rails, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Make sure you guys are tuning into all the programming. Make sure you're subscribed, follow, doing all that good stuff. We will be back next week with more shenanigans here on A2D Radio every week here on Weekly Roundup. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.